Happy Thursday, Rocketeers. I'm going to jump into one of our last fairy tales for this unit. Next week, we'll be moving on to a new kind of text, and it's very exciting. I won't reveal it yet, but this is a Mexican Cinderella story, and it's called Adelita. It's written by Tommy de Paola, who also wrote Old Bafana and Strike and Nona. If you look at the drawings, he has a very specific style, and so that was one of the things that drew me to this book. But let's go ahead and start reading. In the book, there are some parts in Spanish, and my Spanish is not very good, so I'm going to have Mr. Tartar jump in and read the Spanish parts, and I will be reading all of the English parts. And then at the end of the recording, I'll go over yesterday's Google form. So make sure you stick around to the end. Thank you.
Hace mucho tiempo.
A long time ago, in a village in Mexico, there lived a merchant named Francisco and his beautiful young wife, Adela. One day, Adela said, "Francisco,
Estamos esperando un bebé.
we are going to have a baby." "Adela," Francisco said,
Me hace muy feliz saberlo.
"I am so happy." Then he said, "We must send for Esperanza. She will come and take care of you until the baby is born, and then she will help us with the baby." Esperanza had been with the Mercado family since she was a young girl, and she had looked after Francisco when he was a baby. Esperanza came right away. She took good care of Adela, but after the birth of the baby, Adela was ill. She grew weaker, and shortly after, she held her little girl for the first and last time. Quietly, she died. Francisco was heartbroken. He named his baby daughter Adelita, little Adela, after her mother. Francisco was sad for his Adela, and he missed her greatly, but gradually, Adelita filled his heart with love. Time passed, and Adelita grew into a beautiful young woman.
La casa mercado se llenó de alegría.
The Mercado house was full of happiness. One evening, Francisco called Adelita and Esperanza to his study. "My dear Adelita, my good Esperanza,
Les tengo noticias.
I have some news for you. I've met a charming woman, and I've decided to marry again. Her name is Señora Michaela de Fortuna. She is a widow and has 2 daughters close to your age, Adelita. I know you will like Dona Michaela and her daughters Valentina and Dulce. Adelita was happy for her father. Esperanza wasn't so sure, especially after she met Dona Michaela and her daughters.
Qué frías son.
"They're cold ones," Esperanza said. Life was happy but different. Adelita had to share her father's attention, but they still managed to have
Importantes momentos juntos.
special moments together. Adelita didn't mind that Dona Michaela favored her daughters, even though Esperanza complained.
Es natural.
"It's natural," Adelita told her. Then suddenly her father died from an illness, and everything changed. Poor Adelita was an orphan. Dona Michaela had always been jealous of Adelita. Now she no longer had to hide it. She moved Adelita from her beautiful bedroom to a small room in the attic. No longer did Adelita have new dresses. She had to wear hand-me-downs. Worst of all, Valentina and Dulce were mean and hateful to her. Adelita began spending all of her time in the kitchen with Esperanza. She helped her with the meals. She listened to stories about her father as a boy and her mother as a young bride. Because she knew that Esperanza loved her, Adelita's heart stayed warm as the fire in the hearth. One day, Dona Michaela came to the kitchen and spoke to them. "I am spending too much money in this household. From now on, you, Adelita, will work in the kitchen. You are here all the time anyway. And you, Esperanza, out. I want you to leave immediately." "Oh, Señora de la Fortuna, please don't send me away," Esperanza pleaded. "I have been with this family since I was a girl. I will work for no money, just for a place to lay my head and a bowl of beans and a tortilla." "Oh, please, Mama," Adelita begged. "Esperanza can share my room and my food." "Out," shouted Señora Michaela de la Fortuna to Esperanza. Then, in an icy voice, she spoke to Adelita. "And don't you dare call me Mama again. I am Dona Michaela to you." She turned and left, nose in the air.
Entre lágrimas y abrazos.
Amid tears and hugs, poor Esperanza said goodbye to Adelita and left with her meager belongings. Adelita was in despair. The days ahead held nothing but loneliness and hard work. Adelita had to prepare all the meals, clean the rooms, and fetch and carry for Valentina and Dulce, who became more like
maldad y vinagre.
meanness and vinegar.
Mis hijas,
My daughters, Dona Michaela said one morning as Adelita was serving breakfast,
el señor and la señora Gordillo,
have sent us an invitation to
una fiesta en su hacienda.
a party at their ranch to celebrate the homecoming of their son Javier. Ooh, mama, Valentina and Dulce twittered, and Dona Michaela said with a smile,
Se rumora
rumor has it that he will be looking for a wife. The daughters nearly fainted. Secretly, each wanted to be the wife of Javier, and each would do anything to get him. Dona Michaela, Adelita asked as she poured the hot chocolate, may I go too? I knew Senor Javier when we were young. I would love to see him again. Are you serious? Dona Michaela asked. Look at you, so poorly dressed, such a dirty face. I would be too embarrassed to have you in our company. You will stay here.
y punto.
That is final. Adelita went back to the kitchen. The next days were busy. Adelita did not have a minute to herself. Washing, pressing, sewing ribbons on, taking lace off, at the mercy of every little
Capricho.
whim of the sisters, as each tried to outdo the other. So when Dona Michaela, Valentina, and Dulce left for the fiesta, Adelita went to the kitchen and sat by the fire. Suddenly, disappointment swept over her, and she began to weep. She missed her father. She missed Esperanza. She missed being at the fiesta. Tap, tap, tap. She heard a soft knock at the door. Who is it? Adelita asked.
Soy yo.
Only me. It was Esperanza. Oh, Esperanza, I've missed you so, Adelita cried. Don't cry,
Mi pequeñita.
my little one, Esperanza said. I am here. I had
Un sueño.
a dream that Dona Michaela would not let you go to the fiesta, so I have come to help. I have borrowed a cart to take you there. But I have nothing to wear, Adelita said. Come with me, Esperanza said. They went to the
Cuarto de tiliches.
storeroom over there. Behind those boxes is your mother's trunk. The key is behind the crucifix. Adelita unlocked the trunk. Inside, she found an old-fashioned, beautiful white dress. Under the dress was a magnificent
Rebozo.
shawl, embroidered with birds and flowers. Oh,
Mi mamecita.
my little mother, Adelita whispered. Adelita washed and dressed. Esperanza braided her hair and wound ribbons and flowers into it. Oh, Esperanza, Adelita said. Dona Michaela will be furious when she sees me. Don't worry, she will never recognize you, Esperanza assured her. Now, vámonos, let's hurry. The fiesta had already begun when Adelita arrived. She walked into the room. Everyone turned to look. The room fell silent. Who was this stunning young woman? Senor Gordillo went up to Adelita. Who do we have here? He asked. I am in disguise, Adelita said with a twinkle and a sweet smile. Just call me
Cenicienta.
Cinderella. Javier, everyone, Senor Gordillo said. Come meet our very own
Cenicienta.
Javier took one look and fell in love. He danced every dance with Adelita. He brought her refreshments. He never left her side. Adelita's heart was full as well, and all the meanness she had suffered over the years began to melt. But at midnight, when Javier gave her a sweet kiss and declared his love, Adelita was frightened. How could she explain who she was? His family would never allow him to love a kitchen maid. So Adelita ran away and found Esperanza. They hurried home. I will never forget this night as long as I live, Esperanza, Adelita said. Gracias, thank you. If you ever need me,
Mijita.
my little daughter, just call my name and somehow I will hear you, Esperanza told her. The next day, all Dona Michaela and her two daughters could talk about was the mysterious
Cenicienta.
who appeared and then disappeared from the fiesta just like the fairy tale. They were jealous of her beauty and even more jealous because they knew that Javier had fallen in love with her. I'm glad no one knows who she is, Valentina said, or where she is, Dulce said. And no
Zapatilla de cristal.
glass slipper, Dona Michaela added. Javier had told everyone that he would not rest until he found his
Cenicienta.
He's coming to town.
Hoy mismo.
This very day, Dona Michaela announced. He will stop at each house and look for her. This is a chance to show once more what charms you have, my daughter, so prepare yourself. Who knows, maybe one of you will make him forget this.
Cenicienta.
Adelita, they screamed, come help us quickly. I will be right there, Adelita answered, but before she went to Valentina and Dulce, she ran to her attic room and hung her mother's rebozo out the window. She helped the two sisters dress. Then she went back to her room and shyly peeked out the window. Soon she saw Javier coming down the street on his horse. Suddenly he saw the rebozo. He jumped down, ran to the door, and knocked. Senora Michaela de la Fortuna opened the door. Ah, Senora Javier.
Pásele, por favor.
Come in, please, she said. Senora, where is she? I know my love is here, Javier said. Do you mean one of my daughters? Dona Michaela said. Valentina, Dulce, come here. Senor Javier would like to see you. The sisters appeared in the doorway, giggling foolishly.
Buen día.
Good day, Senor Javier, they chimed in unison. Do you remember us? Are you looking for us? Yes, ladies, I remember you, Javier answered, but it's another one that I'm looking for. There's no one else here, Dona Michaela said. Yes, there is, a voice said. Are you looking for me, Senor? There was Adelita, standing on the top of the stairs in her mother's dress and rebozo.
My Cenicienta.
Javier said. Who? What? What's going on? Dona Michaela asked while Valentina and Dulce looked at Adelita in astonishment. It's only Adelita, Dona Michaela, Adelita said as she came down the stairs. Only Adelita. Who are you? Javier asked. I'm Adelita Mercado Martinez. We knew each other when we were children. Oh, Adelita, of course. I remember you as a little girl, Javier gasped. I'm so happy to have found you again, he smiled. I have come to ask my
Cenicienta
to marry me. Will you? I am an orphan, Senor Javier, Adelita said. Perhaps you should ask Dona Michaela if she will give her permission. Will you, Senora? Javier asked. Why, I don't know what. I mean, well, of course, we shall be honored, Senor Javier, Dona Michaela said. Valentina and Dulce glared at Adelita. Then it will be, Javier said, taking Adelita's hand in his. In her sweetness, Adelita invited Senora Michaela de la Fortuna, Mercado, and her daughters, Valentina and Dulce, to the wedding. Of course, Esperanza was there too. She was going to take care of Javier and Adelita just as she had done before. In her sweetness, Adelita invited Senora Michaela de la Fortuna and Mercado and her daughters, Valentina and Dulce, to the wedding. Of course, Esperanza was there too. She was going to take care of Javier and Adelita just as she had done before. And just like that,
Cenicienta
and her
Príncipe
prince, we shall live
muy felices por siempre.
Happily ever after too, Javier said, and they did. So I'm gonna I know I read this page twice. I'm sorry, my video was messing up. But I'm gonna stop there. Sorry, I read it really quickly because I know these videos are getting really long. But I wanted to share with you my Google Doc from yesterday, and I'm hoping you can see it. So I wanted to go over some of the answers really quickly because my questions are going to be really similar to these, and I wanted just to kind of give you some feedback so you knew what to put. So like I said yesterday, when we're going over character motivation and character traits, it's really important that you have evidence, okay? So here I'm looking at the Tuesday Google Doc, and my question was, how can the soldier be described? Give 2 details from the text to support your answer. When I'm scrolling through these answers, I'm not seeing a lot of evidence. I'm seeing clever and kind. Those are valid. Those are correct. But I need that evidence. Like, how did you know that? What I like about this answer here was that the soldier was very clever. He was not seen by the princesses when they went out at night. That's a perfect example. That was like their detail that gave evidence to prove that he was clever. Does that make sense? If you're going to say he's clever, then you need to back it up with something, some evidence from the text to show me why is he clever. What does he do, say, that shows that he's clever? I'm going to see some other ones. Yeah, the soldier was clever and brave because he pretended to be asleep and followed the 12 princesses. So there's one detail that this person is using to back up their answer. The soldier is brave and friendly. See, but there's no evidence there to support that. So it's hard for me to say either yes or no because there's that lack of evidence. So when you guys are getting ready for second grade, one of the biggest things is it's great that you're able to give me these really big, juicy words that are awesome, but you really need to back it up. I'm going to go into Wednesday's form. So that was just yesterday. And you guys did much better at character motivation, like thumbs up, give yourself pats on the back, give yourself a little kiss your brain. Much better here. At pulling out character motivation, why is the character doing that thing? You guys did much better here. There was only, yeah, and even here with character traits, like based on that man's actions, what word describes him, so many of you were able to say loyal. For those 25% of you that said happy, I really want to remind you that feeling words like happy are not character traits. That wouldn't be how you would describe the character. And in this sense, the man stealing from the sorceress's or the witch's garden, that really wouldn't show me that he's happy at all. So that's kind of I put that there to kind of be an outlier, but I still see 13 of you picked that answer. Here says, what motivates the prince to climb the tower that day? Many of you picked that he is on a quest to find the princess in the tower. He didn't leave his house to go and find a princess in a tower. He heard the beautiful singing and he wanted to, like, where is the singing coming from? He finds the tower. He's still hearing the voice and he climbs the tower because he wants to know, who is this beautiful voice coming from? So his motivation would be then, he says he longs to find out who the beautiful voice belongs to. Last one, I'll be really quick. What motivated the sorceress to cut Rapunzel's hair? And most of you got this correct. It says the sorceress cuts her hair out of anger, which is true. She was furious when she found out that Rapunzel had not been honest with her, and she cuts her hair and she throws her out of the tower and then out into the wilderness. So she did that out of anger. For those of you who put the sorceress cuts her hair because her hair is too long, it's really important you go back and look in the book. I don't know if you were trying to be silly. It is obvious her hair is very long, but we're thinking about the motivation behind the action. Okay, guys? Great job. I'm super happy. I'm seeing a lot more people responding to the Google Docs. So if you are one of those people that haven't figured out the Google Docs yet, please reach out to your teacher and help let us know so we can help you start to fill these out. Thank you so much. I will see you again on Friday. Bye, guys.